You know that GCSE Maths Foundation students and rocket scientists both need to understand factorization, especially quadratic equations. Hi, Michael here. In this video we're going to look at factorization and how much time you should spend on this subject for your Maths GCSE Revision Foundation. Firstly, we are going to do a quick review of 3 situations involving factorization. Factorizing to single brackets, factorizing to double brackets, quadratic equations, including the FOIL method, and the difference of the square. Then towards the end of this video, I will give you my thoughts on how much time you should spend on factorization for your Maths GCSE Revision Foundation, and some other exam tips. So please stick around. Firstly, let's look at factorizing to single brackets. Here's an example, 4x squared plus 12xy. When we factorize an algebraic equation or expression, we generally put in brackets and find the factors. Factors are numbers or expressions we multiply together to get the original thing we wanted to factorize. As a quick reminder, in algebra the multiplication signs are there, but we don't write them, they are implied. For example, 12xy is actually the same as 12 times x times y. So to make things easier, we can write those multiplication signs in. If you want to do this, you can do this as well in the exam to help you understand the question. So our starting equation is 4x squared plus 12xy, which is the same as 4 times x plus 4 times 3 times x times y. Then we put the bracket in. Whenever you have a bracket, all it means is that everything inside the pair of brackets is multiplied by everything outside. When you have common things within the bracket, sometimes you can move them outside. The first thing we can move out is 4, because we have one term which is 4x squared and another term with a 4 which is 12xy, but 12 is the product of 4 and 3. So we can pull out the 4 and leave the 3. So you just repeat this process when factorizing of pulling out numbers or letters which are common to both terms. We can pull out x as well. Finally, we drop the multiplication signs. Remember, they are still there, but we just don't write them. And we are left with 4x open brackets x plus 3y, which is really the same as 4x multiplied by x plus 3y. So that is the basic process of factorization, pulling out the common factors of both terms to outside the bracket. If they ask you to factorize an expression, the result should have brackets. Okay, stick with me. Onto our second key technique in factorization, factorizing quadratic equations. Quadratic equations are generally of the form ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, where a, b and c are numbers. For GCSE Maths Foundation, a equals 1. An important tip is sometimes in the exam you will need to rearrange what they give you to this format so that you have factorized that will be in the form x plus something times x plus something equals 0. The aim is to work out what these somethings are as part of the factorization process. Let's factorize the quadratic equation x squared plus 8x minus 48. Again, we need to put brackets in, but this time we want to put double brackets in. The key thing is to focus on the last term, 48. We first find the products that multiply to give minus 48, the last term. So these would be 48 and minus 1, minus 48 and 1, 12 and minus 4, minus 12 and 4, and so on. Then out of these we pick the pair of numbers which will add to b, or the number next to the x term. In our case, b equals 8, as the term x is 8x. So the pair of numbers that adds to give positive 8 is 12 and minus 4. In the exam, you really have to watch the signs, because if we had chosen minus 12 and 4, that would have given minus 8. So 12 and minus 4 is the correct answer. We put these into the double brackets where the question mark should be, and we get our answer, which is x plus 12 times x minus 4. The way we check our answer is to follow the FOIL method, which despite the picture has nothing to do with aluminium foil. FOIL is an acronym which helps you multiply out double brackets. First we multiply the first terms of both expressions within the brackets. In our case, that is x and x to give you x squared. Then we multiply the outer terms, which are x and minus 4 to give minus 4x. Next we multiply the inner terms, which are 12 and x to give 12x. Finally we multiply the last terms, which are 12 and minus 4 to give minus 48. This gives us x squared minus 4x plus 12x minus 48 when we add them all together. This simplifies to our original x squared plus 8x minus 48, which is the expression we wanted to factorize in the first place. So we have confirmed that we are right, and x plus 12 times x minus 4 is x squared plus 8x minus 48 factorized. We have finished our review of factorization. As you can see, it's quite an important part of maths, so you should definitely revise it. However, reviewing past papers, I haven't seen that many questions, like more than 1 or 2 per paper. Algebra forms roughly 20% of the syllabus, and this is just one part of it, so perhaps that is not surprising. By comparison, number and ratio form roughly 50%. So don't go overboard and spend days and days trying to learn factorization. With regards to algebra, you definitely should make sure you know how to rearrange and solve simple algebraic equations. For the questions I have seen on factorization, it's worth keeping in mind that it may form part of a question on another subject like geometry, and also you may need to rearrange. This brings us to the end of this video. Good luck with your Maths GCSE Revision for Foundation and also the exam, and thanks for watching.